You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Were you rushing or were you dragging?
Here we go.
All right, welcome back to Movie Matrix. As always, my name is Jordan. We got Matt.
Ka-chow.
Got my dad.
What's going on?
Also known as David. And today we are back with another podcast. We're going to do things a little bit different. We will be on YouTube and TikTok, Instagram stuff now for sure. We got all that out. So if you like this, we're there. Also on Apple. But we're going to do another What's in the Box segment, which is just kind of a new thing, old thing for us. But what we've watched this week
We're
from last
revamping it,
week.
yeah.
It's on our letterbox, and we'll have all that at the end for you guys to follow. You can go look what we think. There'll be a letterbox for our podcast about the movies we're going to talk about today. We're also going to be talking about Ghostbusters and Roadhouse, and then maybe one more thing. So if you don't want to listen to this, skip ahead. Fine. Totally cool with that as long as you're watching. So we're going to start with the What's in the Box, and I believe...
So, David, what have you been watching?
Man, I haven't watched a whole lot as far as movies go this week. I watched a lot more last week, but just didn't get into it this week. So
Yeah.
I did watch The Royal Hotel.
The Royal Hotel?
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with that.
Man, I can't remember her name. Is it a chick from
I don't know her name.
Ozark?
But from Ozark. She's
the blonde chick?
real hick one.
Laura Linney?
No,
Oh,
no.
the younger one.
Yeah.
I can't remember her name either.
Yeah. Anyway, it's her and her friend are in the. They go to visit Australia. They're Americans that go to visit Australia, and they run out of money, so they got to take a job. And the job is way out in the middle of nowhere, remote area.
Of course.
It's a bar for a mining company
Mm-hmm.
is where they go to work. And things just, it's two women surrounded by a bunch of men, and things go the way you think they might go.
Oh! Okay, I remember seeing the poster for this.
Yeah.
A few times. Yeah,
And
it's just like their faces.
It's like her face. Like,
Yeah, like looking off into
Yeah.
the.
And just, there's just not much substance to it. The problem is.
It's not a horror film, is it? It's like a
It's
mystery
not. No,
thriller.
it's really not, because they don't do anything with it. That's the problem.
Okay.
They don't do anything.
Yeah, it's just kind of straightforward till the end, and it's over, and wasn't the worst movie I've ever seen, but I'll never watch it again. So
Sure.
There
What
you
else you watch?
I watched the other things we watched. I watched Roadhouse, the new Ghostbusters,
Mm-hmm.
and then I watched Cure for Wellness, which
all
we'll
those
go
things
into later.
Those
so,
are all
yeah.
vastly different films.
cannot talk
Yes.
about yet.
No,
Um,
but we'll just say that those are the ones I watched.
you still watching
That's pretty much
Shogun
it.
and Masters of the Air?
Masters of the Air just ended.
Oh, sad.
Very
face.
disappointed. 9 episodes.
Does it come back out?
Excellent. I hope so. But I mean, the way it ended though is the war's over, so you can't really, come back in.
It could make another war.
Not really room for a second season there unless
Right.
they go to a different war.
So, but I mean, if you haven't watched it, it's excellent. I highly recommend it. Shogun is getting so good. It was already good. It's getting better with each week. So, really psyched about that one.
I've been really into movies. Like when you're into movies, like other things take hits, like TV shows. I don't know. Like
yeah,
it's
there's
weird.
There's a lot
like
of
it's
TV
hard.
that I want to watch that I just haven't made time for.
Okay, I guess I'll go. We'll go around the table. Even
Yeah.
though the way this is gonna be set up, I don't think we're gonna be sitting by each other on the thing, but it's fine. I'll try to make it that way. So, if I'm looking off to the right here, it's because my computer's on the right. My lovely wife took my iPad. So, anyways, if she's listening or watching, well, she won't be, so I can talk whatever I want to say.
She's not a fan.
She is
a fan.
not a fan until she wants to be on it.
Isn't that funny? Our wives don't listen to this thing.
That's weird.
My wife has listened to I
Something.
think 3 episodes in 4 years.
It's good. Go us. Anyways, okay. So first of all, IMDb looks really weird on a computer.
Yeah.
Golly.
It
Okay.
does.
So I'm on Letterboxd. Okay. So I watched quite a few. I mean, the usual. So 10 Things I Hate About You. Watched that with Emma. Really liked it.
It's a
actually.
fun,
not
it's a
bad.
fun cult
I-
classic,
Made me really like Heath Ledger even more. Didn't think that was possible.
Little
I know,
rom-com, yeah.
Yeah, it's got little Joseph Gordon-Levitt, even though they are 2 years apart in that movie. They don't look it, but they're 2 years apart. Anyways.
He still looks young, though.
Yeah. And then I went on a wild ride here, guys. Like, I'm just going through my watch list.
Tell us
So
about it.
We've
Bring it.
got Sin City.
Yeah.
Did not like it that much. I think I watched the wrong version.
I
There's
haven't
2
seen that in,
versions,
like 15
Yeah.
years.
and I couldn't find the regular version. So this version was cut into 4 pieces, but they stop
Oh, I don't
instead
like
of
that.
intertwining.
Oh, that's weird.
I
So
don't like that,
maybe
yeah.
I need to rewatch it. Probably won't, because I really liked the yellow one, like with Bruce Willis. I liked that. And
I love the
then
way
like,
it's made, the
Yeah.
aesthetics of it, the way it looks.
the color's cool,
Mm-hmm.
and the cinematography. I literally said on my Letterboxd view, it looks like a graphic novel has been put on screen. I think it's well done.
Yeah.
But you can tell Rodriguez is in it. You can tell some Tarantino's, and you can tell Rodriguez. is
Robert
in this.
Rodriguez just can't freaking help himself.
dude. It's so.
Have you watched the second one?
I don't know if I ever will.
Okay.
I heard it's worse than the first one.
What's
so
it
it's
called?
like
A dame for
a dame
evil?
to kill.
A dame to kill for. Thank you. I was at a dame of
to
evil.
kill 4. Okay, so then I watched Spider-Man 2. Love it. I just haven't watched it. As you can see, it's right here.
So you got the poster behind you.
Anyways, love that. It was great. Still hits right here. Still think Mary Jane's one of the worst characters on screen in these movies.
Yes, she is.
She's the
yes,
worst.
she is.
Tiger.
Her and Aunt May are battling to see who can be the worst character in that franchise.
Watched Big Fish, Tim Burton's. It came out like 2000 or something, 2001. Ewan McGregor.
Still a good movie.
After I dogged on Tim Burton earlier.
I know.
Talking about
Has
greatest
now
films.
has now become my favorite Tim Burton movie. Maybe that's not hard to say. He has made a lot of good ones.
Yeah.
Overall, but it's my favorite one. I think it's great. I watched My Neighbor Totoro. So I'm trying to get in the Miyazaki thing.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Hayao Miyazaki. He made so many good movies. I haven't seen a lot of them.
I
So
haven't seen that one.
My Neighbor Totoro is just delightful.
I've heard it's great, yeah.
And like, it doesn't matter when he makes it. It literally looks the same. His animation's not going to change. Like the Boy and the Heron's animation looks like this one. He has his style, the Studio Ghibli or whatever. Mwah, it's great. Okay, definitely go watch it. I watched No Way Up, that new movie where the plane goes into the sea and the sharks. You ever heard about that one?
I don't think so.
Briefly saw
Utter
something
trash.
about it.
Oh, it was trash. Okay.
Utter
Probably
trash.
like Black Demon.
Maybe I don't know.
was
it was very bad. I was hoping for. Like, it sounded kind of fun. Like they go in, they're like, "Oh, we were survived." They're sharks. It's not. I watched Kiss Kiss Bang Bang for the first time.
I like
Boy,
that
did I like it! I'm telling you right
that
now,
movie.
RDJ and Val Kilmer's banter
Without a
Yeah.
doubt.
puts it up there. Michelle,
Shane Black is great when he could just when he's like
Except for
doing
Predator.
the Predator or something. He's not so great, but
and then Michelle Monaghan is, of course,
Right.
just
She's
good.
there.
Next, I watched Midnight Special. This has been on my watches for a long time.
That's
Michael Shannon, Joel
yeah.
edgerton, the kid from Stranger Things.
I like this movie.
Never
It's
seen
super
it.
good. Move this a little bit. Might be kind of awkward for everyone watching, but it's okay. It was really good. Kind of a slow burn sci-fi, which is fine with me.
Yeah.
Not a lot to say about it.
I
Because,
watched it a few years back, and right after I watched it, I bought it.
Right, yeah.
I just really liked
I
it.
like it a lot. Next, I watched Spider-Man 3. This is kind of my wife, actually. She's like, I want to watch Spider-Man 3. And I said, it's okay. Every time I watch it, I like it more. I will admit.
I don't
Because it's so bad, it's funny at
I
sometimes.
just don't like
It's so
Spider-
goofy. You can have a great time.
I'm gonna
with
put
it.
dirt in your eye.
You know, that kind of
I'm gonna
stuff is
put some
funny.
dirt in your eye.
And then whenever he's like, my favorite part is whenever he's like looking and the bus comes by and he's just gone. Like, where'd he go? He's underneath the table.
Oh, James Franco?
Yeah, he's just underneath the table.
He
you know,
winks,
he's
and then he just
gone.
disappears.
Yeah, it's just stuff like that.
I
And
forgot about that.
I actually like the movie more this time. I watched Stop Motion. It's a new horror movie.
Yeah.
Pretty good. I think you watched it too.
I haven't
Yes.
watched it yet.
It's low budget. Interesting. Definitely interesting. Next, I watched. Did I already say I watched the Old Roadhouse? I did.
No, you did not.
I watched the Old Roadhouse. I feel the same about it as I. But before we get into that, I was giving another time. I watched the new Roadhouse. Talk about it later. Watched The Gentleman. Really liked it.
I still haven't gotten around to that
Guy Ritchie, The
because
Gentleman.
now it's a TV show, right? On
Yeah,
Netflix?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. With
But the movie's
Whatever,
great.
whatever.
I think it's great.
super good. Watched Ghostbusters last night, and then I went home and watched a movie called Super with Rainn Wilson.
That's
Oh,
that
yeah.
James Gunn movie.
It's the
I've seen
most
that.
James Gunn movie. It's not very good.
I didn't care for it a whole
It's
lot.
but it's stacked. Rainn Wilson, Elliot Page, Elliot Page.
Now, yes.
Now Elliot Page. It's got Liv Tyler.
Tyler,
It's
yeah.
got Kevin Bacon. It's got Mickey Rourke. It's got
Wow.
Sean Gunn. Not Mickey Rourke. Sorry. It's got Sean Gunn. It's got whatever his name is.
Who did you confuse with Mickey Rourke?
I did not mean to say. I was thinking Mickey Rourke from Sin City. 'Cause that's what he's in. He's
Oh.
in Sin
Oh.
City. I don't remember now what his name is. He's gosh, I can't think of it. He's the guy in Guardians of the Galaxy, the blue one. Can't think of his name. What's his actual
Michael
name?
Rooker?
Michael Rooker. Yeah. He's because like James Gunn brings all his people in all his movies.
Yeah,
turns
he's
out.
got his posse.
I didn't know that, but yeah, that's all I watched.
Okay, cool. Well, as far as what I watched, I'm going to touch on a little bit of TV that I watched first. For all the inquiring minds that want to know, my wife and I completed season 6 of Love Is Blind. so
Good for
we,
you.
we did too.
So that's done and gone. And my wife
Good.
said, "Do you want to go
Yes.
ahead and start another season?" I said, "I would literally rather have a spider lay eggs in my nasal cavity. That's what I would rather."
but you
do.
did.
No, we haven't started a new season.
We're on
yet,
season
so-
2.
I can sit through
Anyway,
that.
so I gotta at least have a break from that trash before we get on anything. And you guys know me; I always have my TV on in my background while I'm doing stuff around my house. So I probably watched 24 episodes of The Big Bang Theory here and there. You know,
Oh, I don't blame you there.
you know how I do.
yeah,
That's
that's
just
all right.
just what I do. I just like having comfort shows on in the background Well, now, as far as films that I've watched,
Comfort shows.
Comfort.
that's a comfort show to me. Some people like The Office or whatever. That's one of my comfort
Hey,
shows.
my wife, it's Friends. Yeah.
I get it.
Mine
I
is
get you.
too.
I
Yeah,
get
you.
she has it all the time.
Yeah, I get it. As far as films that I've watched, though, I watched, and this is just because it was on TV and I just happened to catch it. I watched Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End, the third one. It's incredibly bloated and overstuffed.
They're all like 2.5 hours long.
Yeah.
Too.
But it's by Gore Verbinski, so it's still very well made, very well crafted, and it has more compassion and ambition than anything else that's come out in the last 15 years. Even though it's really long and really bloated and overstuffed, it's still you can tell like they cared about it. You know?
I haven't watched one of those in years. Oh my gosh.
They're worth a rewatch.
I watched the first one like probably once or twice, like once every couple of years. The first one, but I don't ever get past it.
Yeah, they're worth a rewatch for sure. I watched the 1997 German film Funny Games, which
Love
was
it.
remade. It was later remade with
It's messed
Tim
up.
Roth and Naomi Watts.
Yeah.
But I heard that through the grapevine that the remake is not really worth watching, so I just watched the original. And yeah, it was sick, twisted, and hard to watch. But also, I wasn't. I'm not gonna spoil anything for people who might want to watch this film. I wasn't expecting it to be meta almost. The film just straight up gives the middle finger to the audience.
Yeah, it
and I
does.
kind of respect it for that.
It's like a fourth wall break, right? I haven't seen it.
But at the same time, I kind of went, "What the crap?"
I know. I was like,
Are you
"That's
kidding
just
me?
why would you do that?" Why?
I haven't seen it, so I do
Anyway.
want to watch it.
Yeah, it's worth checking out for sure. Anyway, and I also watched Stop Motion. Yeah, Jordan and I were talking about that. I watched.
It's weird.
It's a weird low budget.
It's on my wish list, though.
It is. It's wild. It's creative though. It's grotesque, and it's also kind of thought provoking. So I like weird independent horror films like that can make you think.
I think you'll like it for sure.
I think you would. Yeah. I watched the Mean Girls reboot from earlier this year. It was better than I thought.
It's not bad.
I was expecting just empty trash. And there was a couple of like really electric performances, and it felt really cookie cutter and really cliche, but it also was a decent enough watch.
I don't know. My mind is still just trash. I still haven't watched it.
It's really not
I
that
just-
bad.
It's really not that
I
bad.
haven't brought myself to do it yet.
You can have a good enough time with it, honestly.
I think you have to kind of like the first one though to like this one a little more. You know what I'm saying?
And I
like,
haven't seen the first one in a long time, so
we
I
watched it.
This new one's a musical, so I couldn't really get onto the musical aspect of it. That's the thing that really left me cold. But beyond that, it was decent enough. And also watched the new Roadhouse and the new Ghostbusters.
There you go.
All right, so that's everyone's watch. We will transition into talking about let's do Ghostbusters first. So, before we do that, though, I have something I wanted to say. So, do you see the poster right here? This is the
I see
IMAX
the
poster
poster
for
right there.
Dune. Okay, now just look at it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
I see
about
it.
to change your life forever.
Please do.
It looks like a Chihuahua. Do you see it?
Chihuahua.
The IMAX one.
I don't see it.
The worms, and then look at the worms. Looks like a nose. Do you see it now?
It does. Yeah.
You're never gonna see
Ew.
it differently.
I see that now. Thank
the
you for
giant
sharing that.
eyes.
Yes, I
Yeah,
got one of
see
the
it.
people on TikTok I follow. He's like, was talking about bad posters, and this one came up and was like, "Sir," he goes, "Someone told me to look at Chihuahua and it ruined it."
Now that I see it, it does. It does.
I'm still gonna leave it up because I think it's an awesome poster. You can
Thanks,
see right
Jordan.
there. But whatever.
No longer
I
see
wanted to
worms.
Say that beforehand. Anyways, so we'll move on to Ghostbusters. Where we usually do this, we'll kind of give our thoughts, opinions. Then we'll do spoilers. So once we do that, you can, if you haven't seen the movie, you can skip ahead to when we go to Roadhouse, whatever. I don't have a lot to say about this one. This one is not very good. Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire just loses everything from Afterlife. Afterlife I felt like it was like, I put this on Letterboxd, kind of like they had the suave of the other ones, but also something new, right? This one just feels like a cash grab. Your best characters aren't even on the screen ever.
Right.
You have a weird, iffy romance that isn't needed. I don't care about who it's with. It's just stupid. And then you have you have all this build up for Garaka, and by the end, like the payoff is horrible. I don't know. I just felt like there was something in that was good. You don't let Paul Rudd and Finn Wolfhard have the screen enough. What are you doing? Even the guy that plays the Fire Master, he can be funny, and he was pretty funny. He can be annoying. He was almost getting there for me. He even doesn't have enough. It's like it was all on the girl Spangler, which I get, but man, I just think it missed the mark.
And she was good, but
She was fine. Like, I thought she was worse than this one than the last one.
That's the problem. She was fine. That was it.
Yeah, the last one I felt like she was
Not
like
great.
spunky and like, she was like really out there, and she gets.
She was like this depressed teenager throughout the whole thing.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like kind of a trope, but it's fine. I didn't love it that much. I'll see what you guys think.
I didn't really care for this either. I was kind of I thought the premise of it was interesting. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Turns out the Empire doesn't start freezing until the 90-minute mark. So
Yeah,
I was pretty freaking let down on that. The whole concept that I thought the film was built around kind of dropped the ball. I will say Paul Rudd could make anything watchable. I mean,
when he's on screen, it's
He
electric.
could if they put him on the screen.
really
yeah.
could. He wasn't in the movie as much as I was hoping, but he can still make anything watchable. He is a treasure. This film is not.
No, it's not.
It's just so messy. They take, and I think Ghostbusters Afterlife was was a good enough sequel.
I haven't bought it.
It was
Yeah,
it
me
was
too.
good enough. They take all the stuff they built up in Ghostbusters Afterlife and then just pile so much more crap on top of it that you just get this underdeveloped mess. Like there's so much stuff that everything feels undercooked. Everything feels messy. Everything feels like an afterthought. 70% of the movie felt like exposition. They're just dumping exposition the entire time.
Exactly.
In
I
stone.
agree.
It
Agree
just-
completely.
There's so many random characters that you do not need. Take out. I guarantee you could throw a rock and hit 6 characters that you could take out of the film. Wouldn't make a dang bit of difference.
Nope.
I
agree.
Almost all of the original characters felt like an afterthought. Everything felt like an afterthought.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I think there's a couple of good moments of humor, nostalgia, whatever, but it just never really showed any signs of life. It never really showed any signs of being anything original or anything very interesting for that matter. So all in all, I was pretty disappointed with this.
Right.
Yeah, I kind of had a little higher expectation going to this because of the last movie. I enjoyed the last movie quite a bit. It wasn't a masterpiece, but it was good. I had a good time with it.
Mm-hmm.
This one I did not. I'll just
Yeah.
put it that way.
Yeah.
3/4 through the movie, I'm going, oh my gosh, all they're doing is talking. There's nothing going on. They're explaining this.
A lot of talking.
They're explaining this. They're explaining that. There's like you said, so much exposition. It's just ridiculous. A movie of this type needs more going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or make me care about the characters a little more. I thought I did from the last movie, but after what they did with this, oh my gosh, it was ridiculous. I think I told you guys already this. I actually fell asleep a couple times during this movie. Sorry to admit that,
Wow.
but it's true.
I've never fallen asleep in the theater. I've come
This
close,
is
but
think
this
I
is
either.
the first time. I fell asleep a couple times, only to be woken up with the occasional loud bang or something going on the screen.
mm-hmm.
But besides that, man, there's nothing that I can take away from this. It was a little bit funny. The fire master they brought in, he was funny, brought some comedy. They
Oh, yeah.
seriously did not use Paul Rudd enough. I mean, he carried the movie, as far as the comedy goes from the last movie. He carried it. It was
Right.
awesome. It was great. That's part of it. They didn't utilize him. They did not put him on screen enough. They didn't put the Ghostbusters on screen enough a lot of times.
Funny to name
What's
the movie
deal
Ghostbusters.
with that? I don't understand.
There
why
was
you
very
do
little
this.
busting of ghosts
Yeah,
in this
exactly.
film.
I mean, you start off busting ghosts, and then we get
Yeah.
nothing for it felt like 3 hours.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. This movie was not good. I did not enjoy this. I will not watch it again.
Yeah, I'm with you. And
Bold.
even
Me either.
even the moments of I would say where it breaks up the monotony, where you have some humor with Paul Rudd and Kumail Nanjiani, who played the
Fire
when
Master.
he was
Fire
in one
Master.
scene at the beginning, I'm like, surely they're not going to waste him on a.
I
part
thought the
like
same
this.
thing. I was like, he was like in one trailer, and it was like,
He always brings a good amount of humor. At the same time, he almost felt like he was in a different movie. Like he was
Yeah.
enjoying himself so much, and everybody else is like, I just want my paycheck.
he's like,
I'm
where's
outta
the
here."
Eternals at?
Yeah, but
Ugh.
it was I'm with you, David. It was just vastly disappointing.
Yeah, it's like the best parts are probably like Paul Rudd and McKenna Grace, I think is her name, that plays the girl, and it's like, he's like, who are you? I'm the step teacher. Like all that stuff was good, and you knew by the end what it was probably gonna be, like
Right.
the whole dad thing. Like
Yeah,
I'll be,
yeah,
which
yeah.
is fine. I don't care that they do that, but it's like they just make problems in this universe that don't need to be there.
No.
They're like, what if we just make something break? That would be cool. What if we just make this one guy automatically give this orb to somebody for no reason? What if we make our main character make the whole movie bad?
And,
it just doesn't make sense.
And part of the cash grab was that they brought in some of the older characters that we hadn't seen in quite a while. Even like, what was the ghost? The Slimer or whatever his name is?
Slimer, yeah.
They brought him back, but not enough really. They
He
just,
only
it was
exists
just,
so Finn Wolfhard could have something to
I mean,
do.
and
That
that's
was it.
what a waste of character there. They brought back the old mayor. That was
Yeah,
That was
I wasn't
weird.
sure if
Just
that was
for-
him
they,
or not.
They had him just for them to piss
Just-
and moan at
that's
somebody.
right. It was it was
I mean,
it was like taking you back to like the originals with him, and it just doesn't work now. I don't know.
agree.
It just did not work at all.
Yeah, and it's like you sideline your best characters. This is not spoiling, I don't think. Finn Wolfhard does nothing in this movie, and like
There was take him out wouldn't make a
in
single
the
bit of
third
difference.
act.
Even the girl, the
Oh,
one that was
yeah,
in the
yeah.
factory or in the
what's
lab.
her name in that?
What is
It's
her name?
Lucky. In
Yes.
in that.
I mean,
Well, I was thought it was
Celeste
she just-
O'Connor's.
I thought he
She
was
did-
saying Bucky the whole time.
she basically did nothing. I mean,
Yeah,
you know, you got a whole lot of decent characters they fleshed out in the last movie,
Yeah.
and you just leave.
like podcast is barely in this, and he
You
was
just
really
leave him.
funny in the
He's
last
useless.
one.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like they do that with a lot of the characters, and I don't know. They bring in Melody, who's the ghost chick, and
Right.
Yeah.
she's got a cookie cutter reason to help Garaka. You know, it's
Yeah.
like
We don't really care. It's like her family was
Who
taken. And she's got to
cares?
help the big evil ghost.
yeah, and it's like you sideline Paul Rudd, right? He's barely in the movie that much. You sideline Finn Wolfhard, who is a good. He's charismatic. He can be funny. He's funny in it for a
Yeah.
while. He's in it.
Yeah.
And then you bring back Slimer as a cat scrab for Finn Wolfhard to have something to do. Because Slimer, you know, he's obviously like the main ghost of Ghostbusters. When you think of that, or maybe you think of the dog and stuff. I don't know, but I think
When
it's
he-
Or the
Slimer.
Marshmallow Man.
You know,
maybe.
Yeah.
when he
Yeah.
slimed, you know, Bill Murray in the video.
Yeah, I think of
mean,
a Slimer. I think Mark Stay Puft, and they also don't have enough of them in it. Like Afterlife had a lot of Stay Puft.
and they're funny. I
And
mean,
they're great.
Yeah, they're
yes.
cute. They're adorable. They're funny. Yeah, but again, it's like they just was like, we gotta have them in here. So let's
Drama.
just throw them in here for no apparent reason. It didn't make sense for them to be in the movie, really.
The story. I'll just get to the first part of the story. I'm going to spoil, I guess. The first part of the story is basically there's an orb. This is in the trailer that's holding a godlike being that can freeze the planet. It could be an ice age, as Dan Aykroyd says in the trailer.
Right.
And the whole movie is surrounded by them stopping them. The problem with this movie is they're the reason for it, and that's what I hate about these. Like, if they just would have got out because of like a rift of something, it's fine. But this is all human made of
Yeah.
why this happened, and that's something I just don't love. Kind of Afterlife is the same thing, but at least in Afterlife, it kind of like an earthquake happened or something, I think, and it kind of opens up. Still kind of dumb, but not as bad. But anyways, there's an orb, and then your main, what's her name in this? Even? Phoebe, yeah. She is going through her midlife crisis teenager years, where she's the worst. 'Cause, you know, that's how it is. 16, 15, you're the worst.
Yep.
Yeah.
No one likes her. She's getting benched from the Ghostbusters. She's like, I'm gonna go hang out with ghosts. You know, it's kind of what the first part of this movie is. And then you all of a sudden there's a factory where they can like take stuff and things, because like the main part of this movie is the containment thing can no longer contain ghosts,
Yeah,
which I feel like is so stupid.
It's overloaded.
Which is like, why? You don't think Spengler probably thought of that? Like, he's smart. They just made this so they can make a movie. They're like,
Yeah.
let's make the containment thing not work, but let's make a factory so we can put them there. Like, I don't... Anyways, that's where the story
It
goes,
was convoluted.
and it's just crazy.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
it's
just, there's
crazy.
so much crap that just goes on. It's like, dude, just pick a lane, man.
It's
I don't-
everywhere, and all of a sudden you have a fire master with and brass is now a conductor for ghosts, and I don't remember that ever being said ever before in these movies, and
Don't
so
do that either.
that's a stretch for me. And so you get like a brass room and all this other stuff, and it's in the orb itself is in a prison realm, is what it is, which is made me think of Hellraiser, and which I don't like thinking about Hellraiser, so. And at least the first one, and totally different movie actually, but
A little bit.
and it's trying to get out of the prison, and basically, and once it gets out, it'll take over the world.
And the
That's
question is,
how many movies
once
seen?
they realize what this thing is and it's inside this orb, why not put it back where you got it?
Dude, my wife, on the way home, she was like, "Why didn't they just put it back?"
Yeah.
I was like,
It would have been fine.
"That's a good question.
Would
I
have
mean,
been fine.
Because then we wouldn't have had a movie.
a good one too." That's
I needed good sleep, so
that's
we were good.
kind of the basis. So we can do spoilers. I think this is a good
Yeah.
time. So we'll do spoilers. Yeah.
I don't know what there is to spoil.
The only thing is, like, this is the problem with a movie right here, is that everything is man-made here to make problems, okay? So, yeah, the containment thing is bad, but they don't even do anything about it. They're like, let's go look at the factory and not do anything about the containment thing.
Yeah.
Whatever. So if you get past that, next you get the prison realm, and they're like, it could open. And then they find out, Dan Aykroyd's like, oh, well, brass is used to keep in spirits. So I'll just put it back. It wasn't open by then. They go to what's his name, the fire master's house, and he's like, "Oh, it's all brass." And then they
And
could
there's
just
even
put it
a
back.
place. There's even a place to put the sphere.
Yeah.
It has a holder.
And then Phoebe's like, I really hate everything. I'm gonna go with my ghost girlfriend and go.
Yeah, what was that all about?
I'm gonna
whatever. make myself a ghost because I always want to know what it'd be like at 15. What does it be a ghost?
Really?
Whatever. So she's like, I'm a ghost now. She's like, I'm sorry, double crossed you. Ha ha. I need a
I was
human to
shocked,
say
yeah.
these words.
Didn't see that coming.
And it opens up and Garaka's just pieces. He's like, I don't understand Garaka personally. He's like a horned little, not little. He's
Tall, dark, and horny.
tall,
12
dark, and
o'clock.
horny. 12 o'clock. You know, one of the best lines of the movie, other than the whole.
Other than like I made a ghost bust or
Yeah, he's like,
something.
what am I gonna say? I like busting. But like,
That's peak screenwriting.
it is. But that's the problem with the movie. She's the reason that if she just doesn't go get extracted
Yeah.
because she's a teenager, which is fine, you can be a teenager, but like, how many times have we seen the teenager thing?
And like I understand, I was a teenager too, so like I understand the whole angsty thing of like they don't understand me, I want to be a part of this and that. But now I'm sitting here like as a father, I'm sitting here looking like Paul Rudd, you're 100% like she doesn't need to be a part of this. She is a child,
Yeah.
and she literally screws up the entire world.
Like, if they just put it back and she doesn't extract herself, this movie doesn't happen.
Well, and,
right?
And I don't care how depressed you are. I don't want to be a ghost.
Yeah, like
I mean,
that's
what
something that's
teenager-
never been brought up before. Just
What
randomly, it's like,
teenager wants to become a ghost?
let's be part of the same dimensional plane. It's like,
Well,
why?
I
It's
was
like
whatever.
Ernie is like, I made this whole place, and they made this place just so she could extract herself. Because
Yeah.
now the containment thing is cool. They can extract things out of things and then contain
It is, but as soon as you
But it doesn't make any sense.
as soon as you saw the layout of this place, he's got so much money. This is like the lowest tech lab I think I've ever seen.
I know. It
Okay.
looks weird.
It looks like it came out of the 80s.
Yeah.
Might have.
And
That's the point, right?
and
Guess.
and as soon as you saw it, you're going, they're going to lose power and everything's going to escape, right?
Right.
I mean, you just knew it was. And of course, that's what happened.
Yeah.
I mean,
I did like the little possessor thing. I can possess inanimate objects. It became kind of
yeah, it was
funny.
a cool little tidbit. Yeah.
There were some just random ghosts that don't explain. Like that one is explainable. But like that's the alien looking one. They don't explain
Yeah.
where that came from. They
the
don't-
one that kind of came out and went back in. And
yeah,
came-
they're
I
like,
mean, it
we
was-
can contain them now.
It was
so
just there.
so we can now study them. Which they don't get into that. Why do they study them? What's
Yeah.
the point of studying ghosts?
Why? You're supposed to bust them, kill them.
In the first one, they know there's no dimension, and they shut it down. So they're like, why go?
There's so many things like that. It just didn't make any freaking sense.
Why
in
are we
this movie.
studying them?
Yeah,
Yes,
and then
that
Finn,
doesn't-
so like in the third act, so Finn Wolfhard is based in the first act. He's absent for the second act because that's when she's angsty, and then the third act, they're even talking about going to get Garaka, and all of a sudden he just shows up at the end. He wasn't even in the conversation. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Wasn't he was not in the building. All of a sudden he's outside the building with them. It's like they forgot to put him in the movie, which really sucks. I was going and thinking it's gonna be because he wasn't in a lot last time either, which is fine because I thought, well, first movie, let's get our best characters in front of the camera.
Yeah.
They're like, what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring in a character that's mildly annoying, be the fire master. He's not bad, but he's not what I wanted, and we're gonna sideline our best characters. I'm like, bold, and then you get this build up for Garaka, and he stood there for 10 minutes, and then gets busted
Well, I think I
by
told
brass.
I think I told you that last night too. Is this is a Ghostbusters movie,
No, it's not.
but you bring
not.
no, it isn't actually, but it's called a Ghostbusters movie,
Should have been
and you bring
teenage
in
angst.
another character to solve everything for you.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. Why do you do? I mean, it just doesn't work.
His fire master things were
Unless
funny.
the only other thing I can think of is they're thinking of a third movie, and
Oh,
he
yeah, they
becomes a
are.
Ghostbuster.
Oh no,
That's the only thing I can think of.
I think this is going to be a trilogy. This movie will make money. I think they wanted a
It
trilogy.
wouldn't
out of
surprise
it.
me at all if I read like later today. Oh,
It'll win-
Ghostbusters Frozen Empire sequel in the works.
It'll probably win the off box office weekend. In our theater,
Say it'll win the Oscar.
yeah, was packed.
It was surprising.
Dune 2.
I was surprised,
Listen to this.
yeah.
Dune 2. When we went,
There were
had like
10
people.
Yes.
Ours had this one had like 50.
Yeah,
So
it
it's
didn't
like
make any sense.
which is fine, and that's what these movies, these PG-13, like Godzilla Kong, is it gonna be any good? I'll probably like it. Is it gonna be a good movie? I don't know, but it'll probably make a lot of money.
So I bet money on if there's a third one, he is a Ghostbuster now.
I told you this way back. I think why bring him in when you can just make Paul Rudd the Fire Master?
Yes, exactly.
How much fun would that be if Paul Rudd? He's not related.
Not a
like
member
you
of the
said.
family. Yes.
That'd be so fun to watch him move fire. It's like whatever. We don't need him. Put Paul Rudd in front of us.
Right.
That's what I want.
Just waste of potential, man.
Yeah, I liked Afterlife a lot. Really did. I thought
I
it
did
was-
too.
But listen to this. Do you agree with this? Afterlife has a 7 on IMDb. I don't know what it has in Letterboxd. I didn't look. IMDb's got that's what I'm on. You can look. You look it up. One of you guys. So IMDb's Afterlife has a 7. I think that's fair. I mean, Frozen Empire is a 6.6. Do you think it's that close?
No. Let me put it this way: if these were the only two movies in the world
Ever?
ever,
Okay.
The last one I would give an 8. This one I would give like a 3.
Wow, showing your cards early here before
I
we
am.
started.
I'm just saying. I mean, if they were the only two in the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, ever. I mean, they should not be that close at all.
And I think that
Not
like
even close.
I read a review last night. Now this isn't a critic; it's just someone on one of the groups I follow. He was like, "Excellent movie. It was intense." I'm like, "What part was intense? Garaka?" Because he didn't even look that good. He was like just a random being with blue eyes.
The 2 intense minutes of the movie.
I know. I went in there thinking it would be okay, and it was underwhelming.
I mean, like I said, after the last one, I just thought, it's got a chance,
Right.
and it's not good.
You get the Letterboxd data.
Yeah. Ghostbusters Afterlife is currently sitting at a 3.1 out of 5 on Letterboxd, and I can't find out what the dang score is for Frozen Empire. Hang on.
Okay. Yeah, I don't see how that they're that close, really.
I don't either.
2.8 right now, so it's very
It's still
close. Actually.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. I think I gave. Oh, I mean, it won't matter. I'll go to y'all's Letterboxd and everything, anyways. But our podcast itself, Letterboxd will put up. We watched it, and we'll put up what we have on Letterboxd out of 5. Anyways, that's not. No,
I haven't rated it
here
yet,
nor
so-
there. Well, it's fine. It won't be up to it. Yeah, and then they just bust it. It's like not even a hard thing. She's like, while the city is being frozen, she finds time to melt brass. I don't know how long that takes. And I don't know if a
imagine it would
blowtorch could
take
do
a
that.
while.
My wife goes, I'm not even sure that blowtorch is like good enough. Like, well, it is in this movie.
Right.
And then she's able to do it.
It's
and
Ghostbusters.
all of a sudden, he puts on his Fire Master thing. He's like, I am now from Fire Nation
Yeah, he is.
in Last
He can
Airbender.
barely light a candle
Which those parts were funny.
with
I
his
agree.
fire ability, and then all of a sudden
He's just like-
he's able to take this dude on. Yeah.
Just does his best thing. I'm like, sure. And
He's
then
like,
they
he's
just
like an airbender at one point. I mean,
yeah, he's a firebender. Is what he is.
That's what I meant.
From air,
Sorry.
yeah, he's like bam, and she's like, get my brass protons. It's like whatever. And then Dan Aykroyd's like, I don't know how scientific he is in the other ones. I don't remember him being a big scientist. He's now studied it for like 10.
Well,
he studied for 80 years.
I think they were all scientists. in
Oh
the
well,
first
it's
one,
been
I
a
think.
minute. Well, he knows a lot
been a
about
while.
protons now. Okay, he looks down and he goes, it's breached. If we do this, if we hit 3 buttons in a row, which by the way, whatever, if we go bing bing bing, and we pull this thing, it'll trap it.
That's all it took.
And I'm like, you're telling me we're gonna get an hour and 30 minutes of this Garaka talk for him to be
Of how
busted in
powerful
10
he
minutes
is.
by old people and a little angsty teenager, and
Absolutely.
without proton packs, really. Like she
Yeah.
has one proton pack
Yeah.
and a fire dude, which by the way, I don't even know. He takes the fire from a ghost and makes it the eternal flame. What? Can you make any fire eternal flame?
I don't have an answer for that.
Apparently
okay?
he can,
I don't
yes.
have an answer for that.
No one does.
Because
So
there's not a lot that made sense in this.
no, and I didn't even have fun with it. I'm cool with a movie that's not very good if you have fun.
Yeah, and it was not fun.
Not fun
At all.
Not fun. So, anything else you guys want?
Nope.
Go around the
Good.
room and give our ratings A through Z.
On a report card, I'm gonna be. I was flirting with like a D plus, D plus, but I'm gonna be generous and say a C minus for
Okay.
Ghostbusters Frozen Empire.
Sounds good.
Yeah, that is pretty generous. Man, I did laugh a few times.
Right? It's
I did fall asleep a few times. I am gonna give it a D, dude. I just
D or like
D
plus,
for
D minus?
dude.
huh?
D for dud.
Yeah.
Just like D, no D plus, E minus.
No,
D.
give me a D minus. Yeah, I did not.
I expect him to go up. Actually,
No, I'm not going up on this, man. I
That's
was
fine.
bored most of the time. 3/4 of this movie, I was completely bored out of my mind. I'll never
Same.
watch it again.
It was boring. I agree.
Yeah.
I was at C minus too. I didn't think it was the worst thing. I didn't think it was ever going to be good. Maybe I'm giving. If I ever watch it again, which I won't, I might go down. I don't know. Like this is just like we watched it last night.
Right.
Not a lot to marinate on. It's like I kind of forgot half of the movie already, so that's not
Yeah, same
good.
here.
Maybe that's why it's so good in my mind. C minus, but I give like a 3 on Letterboxd, which is like normal. Like it's kind of like a 6 IMDb. It's kind of how I look at it sometimes. And that's what I gave it. So it's like whatever.
It's
Um,
generous, dude.
Thank you.
Mhm.
I am a generous man.
You
You
are.
are.
So that was Ghostbusters.
Have I told you how much I like Dune? Anyways, it sucks that we watch that kind of. It's part of it, though. We're getting a good slate of movies in theory coming
Yeah,
out.
I hope so.
This
In
was
theory.
supposed to start it.
Yeah, I hope so.
Did not.
Yeah.
Let's transition over. We watched another movie this week. Roadhouse, the
Roadhouse.
remake of Roadhouse with my
Yes,
man
we did.
Jakey Poo,
Roadhouse.
Jakey Gyllenhaal, spelled with 2 A's. Didn't know that. Jake and Gyllenhaal.
Jake and Hall.
Jake and Hall.
It's like it's Swedish or something. So it's
Yeah.
like Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. That's
I want
how
you
it's
to talk
supposed
through
be
the whole
pronounced.
time.
Appreciate that, Matt.
So Roadhouse is it's a not sequel, it's a legit reboot. I thought it was going to be a sequel for a
Right.
second, but it's not. He's playing Dalton, the same as Patrick Swayze.
I wish it had been a sequel.
Yeah. So I decided to go ahead and watch Roadhouse last week because I was like, well, if we're gonna do it,
Oh, the
I
original?
want to make the comparisons.
Right.
I watch, yeah, they're both called Roadhouse, so it's like,
Yep.
but this one has a space in it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say if you're gonna make your movie, if you're gonna name it Roadhouse, you're gonna have your main character called Dalton. There's got to be a comparison between the two.
There's gonna be, and from what I've seen, the old people, no offense,
Hey.
I've taken offense to this movie. The younger people tend to like it more. So we're gonna see how this.
I didn't take offense.
We're gonna
to it.
see.
I just don't like it as much.
We can get into this in a minute, but the original Roadhouse is a movie that like everybody's dad loves.
Yes.
It was like
Yeah,
was that
yes.
freaking movie
Yes.
for people that were born in the 60s, 70s. It was that
Absolutely.
freaking movie for them.
Yep.
So the comparison being made is, I think that I don't like the first Roadhouse that much. I just watched it. It's a fun time. Now look, I put on my letterbox. It's a dumb
No,
fun.
you have
time.
to understand. This
You know?
is not a great movie.
It's just a cheesy action
It's
movie.
just
that
fun to
became
watch.
a cult
with
classic.
a
Yeah.
ton of nudity, by the way. I don't remember that.
True.
Patrick Swayze's a cool, suave dude.
Yep.
Right? He's just cool.
Mhm.
He always is suave in all those movies, except for maybe Donnie Darko is kind of a weirdo.
He
But
is.
he's pretty suave in everything.
I wouldn't call him suave and Donnie Darko.
This
No,
is around his dirty dancing.
he's kind of a
time.
child
Yeah.
predator.
The
Whatever.
Ghost.
Ghost
Yeah.
and all those.
And
yeah.
he plays it well. He's not a big dude. He's like, and he plays that well. There are the same aspect in this. They use some of the
yes.
same lines. They go, she goes, do you ever win a fight? He's like, no one
Nobody-
ever wins in a fight. And I was like, that's cool. The
Exact same
homage.
line. Yes.
He falls in love with a doctor. I guess she's a doctor in this.
Yes,
And
doctor.
in the same one.
Rat catcher from the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Kosher
The difference is the Roadhouse is literally just called Roadhouse in this. It's
Right.
called Double Deuce in the first one.
Right.
Don't know which one's better, to be honest. Double Deuce is not a good one. The difference really is
Or
he's
as Sam Elliott says, the double douche.
yeah. The difference in this one is he's a UFC fighter. That's where he gets his fighting skill. Patrick Swayze
Is a doctor of
is
philosophy.
Dr. Philosophy gets from
Yeah,
Sam
but
Elliott.
he's been a bouncer forever.
Yes. So there's a difference here. There's a bouncer forever UFC fighter turned bouncer.
Mhm.
There's your main difference, right? So like I said, we'll get into what we did the last one. What I liked about this movie. We can go into comparisons in a little bit if you want, because there are some. I liked it. I don't think there's anything wrong. Well, there's plenty wrong with it.
There
Let's just
is.
say that. Shouldn't say anything wrong with it, but I think there's nothing wrong with liking it. So,
Yeah.
over the top. Conor McGregor gives one of the dumbest, over the top, but fun performances I've ever seen.
Man, I don't know.
I had a good time with him in a way that you can't look at it critically. Does that make sense?
I think he was doing what they wanted him to
right?
do in this
He's
movie.
an over the top.
That's
I
part
thought
of,
he was annoying
I think that's part
AF,
of the
but that
problem.
doesn't mean
Yeah.
anything. I think that's what they wanted.
I think
think
it's part of the problem, though.
I think
That's what he
Jake
wanted.
Gyllenhaal's really good. He's always good in everything.
Yeah, he is.
He plays the suave character well. He kind of is that in everything. He's just a very
Just a freaking cool dude.
cool dude.
Likable guy.
Dalton's got to be
Yes.
cool, right? It's kind of his thing. The Dalton character got to be cool.
Yeah.
Every girl's got to want him, and every girl wants Jakey Poo. I mean, come
That's
on.
right.
Probably some of
Um,
the guys, too, yeah.
Me too, yeah.
Yeah.
And then that stuff's good. Now, I do think the way that they they choose to shoot some of these angles, I
It was
didn't
rough.
love.
Yeah.
I think it works sometimes. Doesn't work other times. The story itself is not great, but
I didn't like when they went first person on that fight.
Yeah.
Oh.
But the story in the first Roadhouse, not that great. I mean, really, it's just like a dumb fun movie. The first one's dumb fun.
It's pretty simple, yeah.
This one's dumb fun. The first one's ending is a lot different than this ending. It's about
is.
the same kind of, really, if you think about it.
It's different, though.
It's still different. I think that some of the CGI is kind of weird in this one. It's fine though.
Yeah.
I had a good time. I'd watch it again. I like the end fight scene. Made it had like an extra half star for me with him and Conor McGregor. We all know that's going to be the ending of it. That was a cool fight scene. I think it shot the best out of the fight scenes. I feel like, because they're kind of shot
Probably.
weird. Overall, I did like it, and we'll get into the problems, of course, and the spoilers if you can spoil it, because it's like the first one. So, but anyways, kind of what I liked about it. Whatever.
I feel you. I think Roadhouse. I'm gonna preface this by saying I've never seen the original with
Okay.
Patrick Swayze. It's just one of those I never got around to. I don't know if I would really like it all that much. I mean, it's
He rips the guy's throat out with his hand.
He does.
I
He
mean,
does. He
there's
actually
that.
does.
I
Yes.
get it's probably just like an old school cheesy cult classic that
I would say
people
so.
people love, and that's fine. But so I'm just taking this 2024 Roadhouse at face value.
I actually kind of like one of us that doesn't know.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah.
so I'm just taking it at face value, and it's a decent little action film. I'll say this though, they don't make a whole lot of movies like this that are just like bros movies. Like, this is just a dude's movie. It's just dripping with masculinity and testosterone and violence. But you know what? I'm here for it. It was
Why not?
it was a decent enough action film. Jay Gyllenhaal's got enough charisma to carry the film. Some of the characters were dumb and annoying. I couldn't really get on board with Conor McGregor. He was pretty wild and pretty annoying. Again, I think that's kind of the point. I think that's what they're going for.
He does it the way he's supposed to, I think.
Yeah.
I couldn't really get on board with the goofball from Game Night being some giant crime boss. I couldn't really get with that. Like I said, there was just a few characters I didn't really care for. A few characters I liked. Okay. By a few, I mean Jake Gyllenhaal. That was a character I
Right,
liked.
yeah.
The rest of them were just
He's
fine.
kind of the man.
The rest of them were just fine. And I do think Doug Liman digs deep into his bag here for some of these action sequences and stuff, because some of them are very creative and very unique. So some of them I thought were really, really cool, really well done. Some were pretty distracting.
Yeah.
And I think I read actually afterwards I saw an interview with him, and he said he tried some new technique called multipass, where they're literally passing a camera around
It looks like
during
it.
the action sequences and stuff. And I'm like, you know what? I admire him for just being like, F it, let's
Why
try. We ball, let's try it.
Why
I
not?
admire him for just trying different things with this and just throwing to the wall and seeing what sticks. So I admire, and you know what? If there's a movie you can do that with, it's freaking Roadhouse. It's not. He's not making Schindler's List here. Just if you're gonna make a Roadhouse remake, let's try some wild action sequences and stuff. So I admire him for that. I just couldn't buy into all of it. There's some ridiculous things in it, but all in all, it's a decent action film. You could do a lot worse.
I think
Yeah.
we did actually last night. So
Okay, I'll preface it by saying that I've probably seen the original Roadhouse 10 times, 12 times maybe. I mean,
that is 10 times too many.
if it's not for me,
If
man.
you-
So it's your
It's
Citizen
just-
Kane, is what you're telling me.
It's just growing up, if it was on TV, I stopped to watch it. That was it. I mean, because it was fun to watch. It's not a great movie. Anybody says
You're right. It's excellent.
Anybody who says it's a great movie,
seen
it's just not true. But it's fun to watch. It's a good watch. I didn't have great expectations for this new one, but I was going in with a positive attitude about it.
Yeah.
I wanted to just
you
say
didn't
okay.
go in. This is gonna suck.
Right.
Hard.
I mean, because of the original.
Yeah,
I hate
yeah.
this movie already. I was not going in that way.
People did that with the Mean Girls reboot. And this is basically the same film.
lot of
Exact
singing.
same.
A lot of singing.
But I couldn't really get into it. I couldn't get into the characters. I like Jake Gyllenhaal. He's charming. He's likable. He's all these things.
Freaking cool.
Right, but
So freaking cool.
the way that they wrote his character this time, he didn't want to be there. It didn't feel like he wanted to be a bouncer there. He didn't want to
until
he
the
just,
third act. You
He
knew
just
he'd kinda
wanted
come
he just
around.
wanted the paycheck. He wanted the $5,000 a month, a week. That was
would
it.
too.
That's the only reason there. And half the time, he just sat at the bar and watched other people fight. That kind of ticked me off a little bit, and I realized that even in the first one,
He doesn't fight much in the first one either.
but he does. But he's not. It's on the sideline as much as Jake was in this one. Okay,
There's also a lot more fighting in the first one too.
right?
Actually,
Yeah.
if you can believe
But
that.
But I mean, let's get into some of the characters. Conor McGregor, man, I just thought he was a clown. I didn't find him intimidating. That's the problem.
I
a
think
little-
they just left the camera rolling
Yeah.
and they're like, "You be you, Connor,"
Well,
and
see-
he's all jacked up on cocaine. And
I think that they missed a chance here to make him a very menacing character. I would have
he's a
liked.
little Irish dude.
Gonna
I
say he's
don't know if
5'2".
it could've been
I
menacing.
would have liked to have seen that. I think they gave him too many lines.
That's true.
I don't think he should have been talking as much.
That's true.
I
He
think-
sounds like that lifeguard from Grown Ups. You know what I'm talking about?
Does he?
I'm from Saskatchewan or whatever it is.
I
I don't know why that comparison came to mind.
I think it would have benefited if they hadn't given him so many lines. I think
it's possible.
I think I would have seen him more as a menacing,
Yeah.
crazy character that way. Even the dudes that were the other bouncers, I couldn't get into it. The only thing that I really kind of liked as far as relationship goes was the little girl and him, how they formed a bond,
Yeah.
and he cared about her and her dad.
Yeah.
That seemed like the only two you really cared about. Not even the doctor so much. They kind of had a romantic thing, but I didn't feel that chemistry between them.
No, not at all.
You know, at all. I
He's-
mean, it's just kind of like they were there.
It's his character. His character's different this time
Right.
because of what he's done in the past.
He's very. He doesn't.
Yeah.
He doesn't want anybody close to him.
right.
I get it.
And I just.
But yeah, and I feel like
I feel like they missed something there. It just
yeah.
as far as that character goes, and her dad, the sheriff. Why put him in this movie?
I mean, there's a guy
wasn't
like that in the first
necessary.
one, kind of.
Not really.
It's
though.
I think he, yeah. They
It's
they
just-
made 2 or 3 characters one character from the first one.
It just wasn't necessary, dude. I saw him coming on. I'm like, man, it's why? And the
I don't know.
and the kid that call him a kid, but the bad guy, the main bad guy.
What's his name? Billy Magnuson or something?
I don't know, man. But
so.
they,
From Game Night, is that who you're talking about?
yeah,
Yeah.
the way that they wrote
He's also
him,
in Aladdin. You guys ever see that?
Yeah, he's the claws guy or whatever.
The way
one
that-
she tries to marry at the beginning.
the way that they wrote him. If you look at the bad guy from the first one, now I'm going to compare it a little bit. Look at the bad guy from the first one.
Which one? The
The-
one that can fight or the one that?
No, the guy pulling
Bradley?
the strings. Yeah, Bradley, the one that had all the money and
Yeah.
and hired all these people. He was a bad dude. You did not want to mess with him because he would just flat out kill you. This kid was just I don't know what he was. It's just he was not menacing. He didn't have any authority. Even his own people who worked for him didn't respect him or care about him.
Yeah.
And was
Yeah.
difficult to get behind him being a bad guy.
I don't even think. I think they missed here. I think they should just had the dad out of jail
Exactly.
instead of having him.
I mean, because you hear about him being in jail, he's really pulling the strings.
Yeah.
Why not just have him on the screen? I mean, cut this kid out completely. We don't.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything for the movie. I felt the same way about the sheriff. There were just so many characters that I just didn't think did anything for the movie that made this better anyway.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I'm gonna leave it for now.
I feel you, and I think yeah, just touching on what you said with like all the additional characters and whatnot. Like I said, I understand, I guess, the purpose that they were trying to have these characters serve in the film, but yeah, they didn't really feel needed, and especially like, you know, he had a decent relationship with the young girl and their family, but like the love interest, and I understand it's a freaking bros movie. You got to have a chick that he gets with. I get that. You got to have that in the
but
film.
if you saw the first one, they were very well connected.
Okay, in this one, like, yeah, he had more chemistry with his Hawaiian shirts than he did with this chick. So
Yeah.
And it seemed like all these other characters, they were just so flat and 2-dimensional. They did not bring anything to the movie.
Okay, well, which I can agree somewhat, but like the first one, the only people that really, if we're gonna make that comparison, the first one, I would say the Doctor kind of does. Definitely Patrick Swayze. None of the bouncers have anything going on.
No, but I mean, the main character, the main relationship you have going in there was Sam Elliott and Patrick Swayze. Patrick Swayze and the Doctor, they're really
Right.
close. He got and you felt for more of those characters because you got behind them a little more as far as what was going. There was more of a teaching aspect in the first one. There were rules they had to abide by that he flat out just said,
Yeah.
this is what you do, this is what you do. I kind of missed that in this one because I thought that would have been cool. But, you know, besides that.
He does teach the kid like some UFC moves. So we'll just, I guess, spoil it.
Yeah,
Do
why
spoil-
not?
there is no spoilers, but
No.
spoilers. Yeah. So the difference. This is the main difference in the. Like I said, he's a UFC fighter that has killed somebody. Right. He killed someone in the ring, and it's because of his anger issues. He actually went and killed him. Like he, not only didn't mean to kill him, but he meant to hit him more.
Right.
And he kills the guy. So now he's an ex-UFC fighter. He likes pain. Kind of like Dalton in the first one. Dalton in the first one kills a guy in Memphis,
Right.
Because he's got a gun to his head, so it's self-defense,
Right.
Okay, so that's kind of the same, but a little different, right?
They treat
it,
the character different, though.
yeah. So
Because of those things.
Jake Gyllenhaal's character doesn't want anybody around him. He thinks he should be hurt. He thinks that he deserves it. He doesn't. He just wants. He's a roamer, but he will go help because he's got a little bit of good in him. The first 2 acts,
Basically a UFC equalizer.
yeah. The first 2 acts, he doesn't, like you said, doesn't even want to be there. He has the connection with the girl, kind of like in the first one. He has the connection with the guy that sells him parts.
Right.
That's kind of what they did there, and so that's a little bit different. But by the end, like they blow up the part store,
Right.
they blow up the bookstore. That's when he's like, you know what? I'm gonna kill everybody,
Right.
which
Yeah,
is what he
yeah.
does in the first one. He goes and starts killing people. Well, he like, but it's different. It feels like Jake Gyllenhaal is a little bit more precise.
Feels more brutal.
Right, yeah. It's more brutal. And Patrick Swayze is more suave with the way he
Yes.
does things. He's more karate, more like moving around stuff.
Right.
He does all that like Karate Kid crap where he's like on the pole and like. So their fighting styles are different, but there's an alligator eat a person.
True.
By the way, we kind of just pointed
I
out
didn't
that.
mean,
was nice,
and
yeah.
I didn't mind the brutality. I enjoy, if you're gonna make it look real, hey, it's gonna be brutal. I didn't mind that at all.
Yeah, it's brutal. But those are kind of like the comparisons of the movies. They treat Dalton a little bit different. They treat the Roadhouse is way different. It's
Yes.
in Florida
Yeah.
on the beach, which is fine. I don't mind the different scenery. I
No,
don't mind.
That's not bad at all.
I've been to Key West, Florida. Actually, I've never seen a Roadhouse like that. So I guess I was in the wrong part of town.
The problem is still the same. The first one person needs the Roadhouse to buy the Roadhouse, basically so he can rule the town. This guy wants to put rich people resort on it. So it's close, you
Right.
know? So same kind of thing. It's just a different feel, you know? Like, it's... Which I prefer this feel now, which is totally fine. And I
Hey,
think
that's cool.
from what I've seen divisive-wise,
Right.
like you said, it's like the older generation seems to prefer the old,
Hey, and
which is totally fine. So.
And I'm not going to say anything, bad about that. I mean,
Yeah.
people like what they like.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't get past that. That's
And
fine.
it could be Jake Gyllenhaal,
big
too,
deal.
for me. You know, he's
Yeah.
so cool.
I was going to say you kind of got a bromance with him, so I could see that too.
I think the payoff in this movie is pretty decent, though, because you finally get the whole, like, Conor McGregor, Jake Gyllenhaal fight. I really like that fight. He's like,
Now,
Who would you rather watch forever, Timothy Chalamet or Jake Gyllenhaal?
ooh,
together.
That wasn't the question.
that's his dream movie.
If we're
right there.
going down the film, Timothy Chalamet, because they're making another Dune.
but
He has better films, I'd say, but Jake's got a lot of good films too.
and I have to compare the two movies in the final scenes, final at the end of the movie. Okay, I love the fight between him and Conor McGregor. Okay,
Best fight in the movie.
it was a good fight. What I liked about the first movie better though, as far as the end goes, it's not so much the fight. It's kind of what they bring into it as far as like almost like the moral of the story, whatever. You've got this guy who's not from there, who doesn't live there, who's willing to take a stand for all these other people, but at the end, by the end of the movie, all these other people see what he's doing, and they rise up and work together to take.
Yeah, it becomes like a Tarantino film at the end.
Exactly.
Good Lord. I wasn't expecting, like, this is people
But it-
blowing people away with shotguns.
Wow.
But because of his actions, they decide, if he's willing to do it, why aren't we? And it bonds everybody together to come and take out the bad guy.
Yeah.
I really like that. Whereas this one, it was just everybody's it's just him and Conor McGregor. And actually, Conor McGregor kills the bad guy. So
Kind of does, yeah.
So it's
He
just
does. He's like,
so that-
we ever shut up?
yeah, it doesn't.
Yes, he does.
It's just weird.
I'm like,
I
all
mean,
this was for naught.
yeah, exactly. Because in the first one, they're actually going after Bradley, the bad guy.
Right.
The whole, all the owners, all the business owners of the community, along with Dalton, are going to his house, taking out his people, taking him out. But they've banded together,
Yeah.
and this one is not that. I mean, it's just one guy against one guy, and he doesn't even take out the bad guy. His own guy takes him out.
Yeah.
So
They
it's
got
just,
no chance anyways
yeah,
against
it's
Jake.
just-
So
it's just
Really
kind of
didn't.
it's just a completely different dynamic as far as that goes, and I think I like that type of dynamic in the first one, even though I really enjoyed the last fight.
right. Yeah. And they're both about the same runtime. So
Yeah, I was going to say this one might be a couple minutes longer,
it's
but
like 2-1.
I was
think it
one other
1-5.
thing I'm gonna say is I'm glad they did not bring in another Sam Elliott character, because Sam Elliott was just kind of iconic as far as that role
Just
goes.
freaking
It wouldn't have
Sam
made
Elliott,
sense
dude.
in this unless it
Yeah.
was like his trainer from
Right,
UFC.
and so I was glad
Yeah.
they didn't do that, because they killed him in the first one,
Spoiler.
and that's what kind of brought him
well, I'm never watching it now. Thanks.
brought
David.
him to decide to take the dude out. Basically,
And in this one, they blew up the.
Right.
So it's like they try. Like, I think Sam Elliott's cooler in the first one than Pat Swayze is, actually.
yeah, he is.
Sam Elliott's
He's
freaking cool in
awesome.
that movie, dude. I was like, I want to be him. And he
Yeah.
doesn't even have his mustache. He's
No.
that cool.
He is. He's awesome in that movie. I'm glad they did not bring another character like that.
Yeah, and like the only way that could have worked, because like Matt in the first one, he's kind of where he learns all of his stuff. Sam Elliott's where he
He's
learns.
his mentor.
Yeah.
He's his mentor. So if they did that in this one, they'd have to bring like a UFC trainer. So it wouldn't have really made sense.
Mentor, best
yeah.
friend, and there's a point where the bad guy Bradley, he says, he calls up Dalton and says, "Okay, I don't like you. Basically, this is here's the deal. I'm gonna kill the doc, or I'm gonna kill Sam Elliott's character. I can't remember.
He's
his
like,
name
you can't
now.
kill my woman. She's pretty hot though.
And so he goes, you decide. Whichever one you go to, the other one's dead.
It's a real Dark Knight thing.
Right, and so he ends up killing Sam Elliott's character, and that's what sets Dalton off.
Yeah, and so I will say you guys can say whatever you want else, but I'm done basically. The only other thing I like about it is like I really like Jake Gyllenhaal is just so cool. Like the way he says things, he's like, what am I supposed to think about your gun? It's in your waistband. All I gotta do is just break your fingers. And he's like, watch it, just breaks them, and then he kills that first guy. He's like, I just killed. What was I broke your trachea. And they push him in the pool. I'm like,
that was brutal, man.
He's
I was
just-
not
yeah.
expecting that to happen right there.
And one of my favorite parts of the movie is when Conor McGregor's teeing off on him. He just like sitting there like a stone wall. He goes, "What is wrong with you?" He just takes punches like he's Superman.
Yeah.
Granted, in the first one, Patrick Swayze is somewhat superhuman also. Like
Yes.
these movies, Dalton and everyone he fights are kind of superhuman like.
A little bit, yeah.
You know, and
And I'm not
so-
saying that I hate this movie.
that's good.
I'm just
I feel
saying.
like I do feel like
No, I'm not. I'm not saying I hate this movie because I enjoyed a lot of the fighting scenes.
Yeah, skip ahead and stuff.
Right. Forget the other characters.
I'm gonna make you a. I'll mesh the movies together for you
Okay, you do that.
somehow.
So I'm not saying I hate this movie. I just prefer the first one. And like you said, a lot of those our age are gonna say that. Just
What I've seen.
it's not
so
really,
far.
and it's not so much even a
what
nostalgia
it
thing.
is.
I just enjoy the characters better, the way they're written, the way it is. But that's not to say that I hate this movie. I don't hate this movie.
I don't care enough to really like
Yeah.
defend it. You know what I'm saying? Like you like either
Yeah,
one. Like,
yeah,
like,
I know what
like
you
if
mean.
you were like trying to defend David Lynch's Dune against this Dune, like I'd be pretty pissed. Saying
know what
like,
you mean.
but like this is whatever. Like
It is what it is.
We got what we
Yes,
got.
Yes, exactly.
I figure it's what we get.
For those of
Exactly.
you guys curious,
I watch it. I'm glad I watched it. so.
for those of you curious, the original Roadhouse has a slightly higher IMDb score.
Yep, it does.
The new Roadhouse has a 63% on Rotten Tomatoes. The original has a 41% on Rotten
There you
Tomatoes.
go.
Suck it. No. It's about the same. It's like I really don't know how to save like Rotten Tomatoes.
They're
whatever.
not great movies.
No,
Did you ever watch
you put it
Roadhouse
that way.
2? Straight
No.
to DVD
Not
movie
a
from 2006.
couldn't imagine.
Not
I've
a
heard
chance.
not so good things about it.
I don't think I could sit through it.
Okay,
These are not great movies,
No,
but
yeah.
they're fun to watch. So just
last thing I'll say
Go
is
that
like
way.
in the first one, the ending is he's swimming naked with his naked girlfriend at the end. He's like all cool and everything,
Right.
and this one he just leaves town.
Yeah.
So it's like whatever. Rat catcher's like, you need to leave. The sheriff's like, I never saw you. I'm good now. You know. So it's like whatever. So the endings are when I say about the same is like the character itself is done bouncing basically
Right.
in both because he's helped the double douche whatever, and he's helped Roadhouse. You know. So it's like they ended
Yeah.
the same. Well, you could make another one of these. He could come
right,
back
you could,
on the bus.
or he could decide he likes bouncing and start bouncing around the country.
I hope they don't make another one. I'm cool with this one,
Yeah.
being, but I don't need any more Roadhouse. No Roadhouse.
And
Yeah,
I will
so,
say this,
personally.
and I did not see the first one in theaters,
Me
Okay.
either.
but I'm glad I didn't see this
Came out
one in
89.
theaters.
So
You know, they were talking about how they wanted to go to theaters.
Oh,
I would've been
and Doug
too-
Lyman was pissed that it didn't go to theaters.
I would have been pissed that I paid money to see it.
I don't know.
I
like,
enjoyed
would've
it, but I
been
don't
pissed,
think I would have liked it in theaters.
I can see why though. Why I can see why the filmmaker, like why Doug Lyman would
Right,
be
of
mad. that
course.
they-
It
because
looks like
you
it's
can-
made for like
you
the way
can
they're
tell,
shooting
like
it. Yeah,
like he put some of the stunt work is really freaking good. Like you can tell, like I said, he put a lot of new, creative, inventive stuff in this, and for it not to be seen on the big screen, I can understand how.
Well,
I'd be pretty mad
course.
too, honestly.
Yeah, I get it. We'll go around the table. Well, we have a table here, but we'll go around the table and give it a score from A to Z. Like,
C plus.
okay, that was very fast. Cool. I'm good with that.
Just my gut. Just my gut. It's not
Yeah.
quite a B for me, but it's a
Right.
decent action movie.
Right.
So yeah, C plus.
I'll go see.
I'm also C plus. Won't ever be B for me unless just I get crazy. I'm like, I love Jake, which I do,
Yeah,
but
you did.
Unless your love for Jake burns brighter every day.
yeah. So C plus. So that's Roadhouse.
Yeah.
It's like it's simple. It's on
It's a movie.
Amazon. Yeah,
yes.
I get that in Paramount Mexico because they're both
Yeah, it's on
blue.
Prime Video, yeah.
Yeah, Prime Video for that one. Ghostbusters in theaters. So I think we have time to just go into the movie club. You watched
Movie club,
Everyone
yes,
watched
I
the
did.
movie, correct?
Yes, we did. We watched the movie.
Okay.
We were signed. Yes.
We were signed movies. We're going to review. Not a long review.
Just
you
say
know.
if we liked it or
Yeah.
not. Yeah.
And for what did I have? Yeah, for you, don't spoil. It's new enough for you.
Oh, you want me to
don't spoil that.
Okay.
Ending. You.
I won't
up
spoil
to-
anything
Let's try not to
either, I
spoil
mean-
too much because we kind of want people to watch it. Maybe.
Yeah, because I mean they're all. That's why we recommended them.
They
We all think they're
all
worth watching.
have-
Yours is very spoily.
They
so-
all.
They all have
they
stuff
all
you
have-
could spoil.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like big
for
time.
sure.
We're like
mean-
Spider-Man. They all can. So we won't spoil them for you. We'll just give our review. I'll just go first. What we do, it's a new segment, kind of. We give each other a movie we want to watch. They watch it. Wait till we think about it.
Movies,
and then
movies
next,
we've never seen.
Yeah,
before.
these are
Yeah.
films that like we like and we assign to our lovely co-hosts here. Hoping
With
that they would like them as well,
holes
or at
in-
least appreciate them.
with holes in their cinema. It's like,
Right.
and I think I don't remember the thing. Either next week or the week after, we'll give another movie. So, and we usually have like a month to watch them. So I was given The Game, David Fincher's The Game, starring Michael Douglas. This one, it was good. I don't think it's as good as the rating. I wasn't as high on it. I think I have a list on Letterboxd. It's in the lower end for me. I did really like it. I think Michael Douglas.
Fincher films.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Michael Douglas is really good. I am not completely on board with how the movie goes. I understand it's a game, and I understand by the end why
It's
they
literally
do
right
it.
there in the title.
Yeah.
By the end, you're questioning if it's a game or not.
Yes, and it's
Okay.
also a lot of happenstance in this movie.
is.
But it's well crafted. Fincher's always good. I don't think I've hated a movie. I don't think I've disliked a movie of his that I've watched. He always can make a movie.
Right.
Michael Douglas, man, he's really good in it, and other times I feel like he's miscasting it. I don't really know how to say that better.
Yeah.
I do think Sean Penn is a really good drug addict brother.
Yes.
He's good at that. I do, but I think the movie is well crafted. I think that the idea of this movie is really good. I think it's executed well by the end. It's just like you have to really expend your beliefs.
And the thing about
kind
it
of
is,
movies.
the thing about this movie also is that it's difficult to watch again because you already because the end is so. It's like this huge spoiler.
Yeah.
It's difficult to watch more than once.
I agree. I don't know if I'll ever watch it. I don't know. It's one of the I really did like it. No, nothing.
I'd have
against
to
the
give
movie.
it like 5-6 years or so before I watch it again.
right.
It's
Which
one
is
of those type of things.
Yeah, and it's just like I will say by the middle part, there's a lot of twists and turns.
Yeah,
Do they all hit right? No, they don't all make sense to me, of course. But that's okay.
but it does keep you guessing.
It keeps you guessing, which I like in a movie.
Yeah.
And by the end, it's laid out for you of what's happened throughout the whole movie. It goes to extreme lengths.
It does.
I mean, he gets put in Mexico in a coffin. I don't think that's a spoiler. I mean, he's just like he has a rough time about it, and you don't really know if any of it's real. You don't know if it's a game. If
And I
he's
think
being
that's the whole.
punked, if
I think
Ashton
that's
Kutcher's
the
gonna
whole
come
point
out.
of the movie. Is it starts off as a game,
Yeah.
and then by the middle you're going, "Holy crap, this is real, or is it a game?" You just don't know.
Correct. And I think it does its job. I
Yeah.
did like it. I think I gave it a 3.5 Letterboxd, like a 7 or 8 on IMDb. Solid film. Like I said, I think it's 8 or 9 on my Fincher thing. Which it might go up and down if I watched it again, but it's solid. I'm glad I watched it. It's one of those ones I had on my watch list for a long time. So glad I watched it. Solid movie.
The Game was not assigned to me, but I also watched it. My wife and I watched it, and I think it was a. I think it was a. You're not asking my opinion, but I think it was a.
You're right or not. No?
I think it was a well-crafted, keep you guessing thriller. Like I said, by the end of it, I was thinking like a lot of things had to happen for everything to work out. But you know what? If you're just enjoying the ride, it was a good enough. It was a good enough thriller. I had a good time with it. I'll go ahead and go next. Jordan assigned me. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'll say one more thing. Then it makes you wonder where all those things that were supposed to happen or did happen, were they manufactured? Could be.
Yeah, I mean,
Could
maybe.
be. You don't know.
I won't say what I think because
You don't know.
if
I
it's
don't
not,
know.
I don't get the movie. So I don't know. Anyways,
More questions are raised if
Yeah.
not. Okay, yeah. Anyway, Jordan assigned me. I had never seen, and this is one I'd heard about for years and years, but I had never seen Park Chan-wook's Old Boy from 2003. North Korean film.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't sound.
Not-
Was not
not-
very confident
I mean,
with that.
Not
Korean.
North
I don't know
Korean,
about
but
North
Korean,
Korean.
yes.
One of the Koreas. Okay. I was assigned Old Boy, and all I've heard for like my entire life of following cinema is this is a very good film, and it is a very good film. After I watched it, it was not what I was expecting, though. I will admit that because
Yeah.
I was expecting something more similar to The Raid. Don't know why. I
And the
thought,
hallway scene kind of is.
I thought I've heard about this hallway scene. It's like a epic one shot of just death and destruction, and that's what I was expecting kind of throughout the entire film. And it's not that at all.
It's not.
It's much different than I was expecting, but it's much more complex and much more psychological than I was anticipating, which I think is a good thing. It pivots from being like really bleak and really dour to kind of hilarious in certain points. Like I was surprised how
funny.
funny it was in certain moments. but it pulls off mixing those tones really well. It certainly gives you a lot to sink your teeth into, and I'm not going to spoil anything. But by the end, it's so well crafted. It's like this guy had a vision for the film that he wanted to make, and by the end of it, it gave you a lot of food for thought. There are some breathtaking fight sequences in it. Some great performances. The main guy is just devastating in this movie.
Yeah.
And I think the final act of this film is just like a roller coaster ride. It is just a topsy turvy third act, and if I had like a negative to say about it, I would say that by the end of it, this happens a lot with films. It's like the whole villain's plan, a lot of things had to happen in order for everything to work out exactly the way they want it to, which it usually does in films. But you don't even really think about that because you're just so invested in this wild, complex psychological story that they're throwing at you with some breathtaking fight sequences in it.
The hallway scene is awesome.
Yeah.
But by the end of the third act, I can't help but admire like the sheer balls that this movie had. Honestly,
It's something.
so I can see why it's been held in such high regards for so many years.
Yeah.
And I would say the only downside I've seen, I have this as a 5 on Letterboxd. It's like I love it. So, but the only down I've seen is like this world, hypnosis is a big deal.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you have to understand that in this world, hypnosis works very well.
Yeah,
so
you
if
just
you
have
can
to
get
take it as
behind
it is.
that, this film makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
So, and once I understood that, I was like, okay, because you're right, happenstance happens, but a lot of it tends to be because this world has you're very inept hypnosis.
It's not our world, I would say.
I wouldn't.
Yeah,
it's a world where hypnosis is very.
It's a
works
heightened.
very well.
It's a heightened reality, I would say.
I
But
just-
if you can get on board with that, this movie's just
near
a
perfect.
wild
It's
ride.
awesome. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I just bought the trilogy. I haven't watched the other two yet.
Oh yeah, what are the other two called?
Mr. Vengeance and
Yeah,
Lady Vengeance.
Lady
something.
Vengeance. It's right
Lady
there.
Vengeance, that's right.
It's not
I
Mr.
don't know.
Vengeance. I don't know what it
This
is.
was not assigned to me, but I also watched the 2013 American remake starring Josh Brolin and Elizabeth
Yeah.
Olsen.
I
It's
hate
a
it.
mess,
It's
dude.
okay.
I hated it
yeah.
so much.
It's
Yeah.
a Spike Lee film. I didn't even realize that.
Mhm.
I hate it.
It just falls apart. Like
Half star. Hate it. I really did hate it.
Well, if you compare it to the first one, absolutely.
I watched
yeah.
it days apart.
it's a lot of wasted talent, man.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Absolutely. Matt assigned me A Cure for Wellness.
yes, it did. A movie that literally nobody saw when it came out. And I don't know. I don't think it's gained much of a cult following or anything. It's just a film that I really like. That
And
nobody talks
actually,
about.
I owned it. I just never seen it.
Shocker.
So
you have a lot
you
of
know,
those.
it's just-
yeah, because I brought my Blu-ray with me, and you're like, get that out of here. I don't need
Yeah.
that.
Well, I mean, if I find something that's on, digital for $5, I'll buy it sometimes
understand,
just
sure.
because I want to
Yeah,
watch
that
it.
money.
Can't hide money.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, and I really enjoyed this movie.
I'm glad.
It might have been a little too long.
That's what everyone says. I feel like it could be a little too long. Yeah.
Yeah, I
But-
think I told you going into it. I was like, if I had any gripes with it, I think you could probably shave 10 minutes off.
But overall, the concept of it was really interesting. I thought the writing was good. The acting was great. Like you said, I don't want to do spoilers.
Well, you can
But
say plenty without spoiling the end.
I mean, you don't know what you're getting to begin with. When he first shows up at this, they call it the asylum.
The wellness center.
Yes,
the
and-
vagueness.
Right.
Guess of it, yeah.
And it's supposed to be, a place where people can go to recuperate, heal.
Mhm.
There's supposedly some kind of healing waters there.
Don't drink the
And- yeah, right, exactly.
All they do is drink water,
A
man.
new meaning to don't drink the water.
Yeah.
I
I feel like his tagline, wasn't it, for a little while? I think.
was it?
I don't think so, but I don't know.
But I mean, and you go in wondering, okay, obviously there's something going on here, so you don't feel like this is a safe place to be, even though all these people feel like they're almost like hypnotized or
No,
they're
they love it.
drugged.
Yeah,
you
they
know, and
love
they
it.
absolutely love it. They don't want to leave. Nobody wants to leave.
Because they
And-
even say, like, can I take him with me? Like, he's a patient,
and
not a
as-
prisoner.
and
You
as
can take
they-
him. Is he, though?
And as they continue to let you know throughout the movie, nobody ever leaves because they don't want to.
Why would they want
love,
to?
Right? They love this place. It's paradise. When you get into the meaning of this place and the reason that this place exists, it starts to get a little messed up.
Yeah.
And then when you get into the doctor and there's a young woman who lives there, their special relationship, I guess you could say.
Very special.
But it starts to get even more messed up. There were aspects of this. I was like, okay, I see where they're going with this, and they did. But then there was an aspect of it. I did not see that coming.
Yeah.
I could have done without that, but I understood why they did it, and it was more for shock value almost. It was kind of shocking, but like I said, I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah.
I'll just say it overall, I really enjoyed this movie. I'd watch it again. It was 2.5 hours, just about 2:27.
2:25, yeah, something like that.
And I do think they could have taken maybe 15 minutes or so out of it, and I still would have enjoyed it. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the ride. I'm glad I watched it. I would not have a problem watching it again.
Right.
Somewhere down the line. It was strange. It was weird. Definitely not the weirdest movies I've seen. I like weird stuff. I like strange stuff.
Yeah.
This was right there with it, and I had no problem with that. I mean, I like, a lot of Fincher stuff. I like a lot of, what's his name? Blue Velvet, David Lynch.
David Lynch, yeah.
I like a lot of David Lynch stuff. I mean, if it gets weird, I have no problem with that. I enjoy it. This was up there. It's a fun ride. I had a
I'm
good
glad
time
you
with
enjoyed
it.
it. Like I said, it's kind of Shutter Island-esque. It's not near as good as Shutter Island, but I still think it's a good film. That it's
same twist
wondering,
too.
kept you guessing, kept you wondering.
It's a dark, weird enough mystery that I think a lot of people miss. So I just wanted to give it some more love. I'm glad you enjoyed it though.
Was he hallucinating? Was he seeing this stuff? Was it just a lot of that stuff?
Right.
A lot
Like
of
the
twists
Mia
and
Goth
turns.
there,
Right.
not there type stuff.
So
first time I ever saw Mia Goth in a movie.
Yeah, so it was good. I
Me
enjoyed it. I
too.
mean, it was really good.
Yeah, so that's our movie club. Like I said, we'll give another one out in a couple weeks. Next week, if all things goes well, we'll do another What's in the Box, of course, we do every time, but we'll do Godzilla, Kong, and we'll hopefully get to start our 2023 review of all the movies that we have on there. There's over 100, which is what we usually have, and we'll go through them and we'll start that, and that's always one of my most fun things we do. I feel like it's more.
Yeah,
anyways.
it's a lot of fun.
Before he'll plug everything, and it'll be up on the screen. Also, if you're watching, not listening to, but I don't know. He doesn't have this plug yet, so we do have our YouTube up. By the time this comes out, we'll have a video up, and it's literally just at Matrix Movie Pod. It will be in the description of everything, and then I'll as I'm talking right now, or in a second, the graphic will come up too. But that's the only thing that we'll add to the plugs. So
yeah, we're gonna add some more socials too, but we haven't. We're still in the process of that. But yeah, anyway, I want to thank the beautiful listener out there for powering through with us. This was good time. Good time, boys.
good.
Yeah. So if you would like to reach out to us, you can do that. There's a few places you can reach out to us. We are on Facebook at Movie Matrix Podcast, or we are on Twitter at Movie Matrix Pod. Hit us up, reach out to us, let us know what you guys thought about this episode, or any of our episodes for that matter. But until next time, signing off for Matt, Jordan, and David. We will see you guys then.
Peace.